Well, I guess the way you open a show like this, Rips, is you say, welcome to the I wouldn't call it the new and improved, just the Friday Shout.
The Friday Shout, yes.
The Friday Shout. Before we kick into it, and I'm really looking forward to kicking into it because we've got some very tasty local New Zealand beers here, some panties. A little bit of a background on the show. I mean, we've been in real estate now.
Got you the beers too, mate.
Oh, thank you, mate. Thank you. I don't know if the cameras can see that, but little panties. That's great.
Beautiful from Upper Hutt, that one, actually.
Upper Hutt?
Yeah.
I was just saying, didn't know that they were from Upper Hutt.
You didn't?
No.
I did.
I knew that.
Always by the Panheads.
I knew Garage Project was from Ara Valley.
They are too.
What I also like, before we even get into the background of this show, because it's always interesting, people probably watching going, what are they up to now, is the fact that, you know, where beer is made is in suburbs have houses, people buy houses, they buy them from real estate agents, and that's kind of the correlation of how the beer has made its way into the show as well.
And I do like beer. I
also like beer. Very nice New Zealand beer. Background on the show, look, you've been in real estate, you are now, what are you, 40?
Nearly 30. So
okay,
29.
Sorry, 30.
Thanks.
29.
You'd be 33, 34, wouldn't you?
I'm actually just had my 31st last Tuesday. Thanks for the birthday card that I didn't receive. Hey, been in real estate since you're 18, 29 now.
Yes.
Within that time, you've obviously done, I would say, all right for yourself because you youngest Australasian real estate agent to open their own company.
With my brother.
With your brother as well, Ray White Kemeys Bros, which I work for as well.
Yep.
Not that we're going to be biased towards any kind of real estate companies in this show, so that's something.
No, we're not talking about real estate agencies.
Exactly. But, you know, you opened a Ray White, very young when you did it. Started with 4 staff, you've got 30 now. The company has sold over $250 million.
And on that note, would you like a beer, though? Sorry, didn't offer you a beer.
Well, I mean, we're already a good 2 minutes into the show, 2.5 minutes, and
but yes.
You're kind of lacking on the co-host level, I will say that.
But what you did say there, we've done over $250 million worth of sales, so we're quite proud of that achievement.
Well,
you've done some of them as well. You've done some of them as well, Chip.
I have I would say contributed to those sales, but you know, so 11 years in the business.
Next time we're going to get a better bottle.
We will get a bit of. Thanks, mate. Hey. Cheers to the first show too. Cheers. And thanks to Panhead.
Just pop these down
thanks
here.
Thanks to Panhead, the unofficial sponsor.
If you do another one,
we know where to go. 11 years in the industry. You started as a bit of a whippersnapper. The story goes that the hem on your ankle was so high that you could see you wearing sports socks with your suits.
The hem on my ankle,
or the little piece on the bottom of the bottom of your pants.
Yes.
Not the hem on your ankle, but the hem on the bottom of your pants.
Yeah.
What I'm going for is someone told me you wore high pants.
Yeah,
like you had high pants and
I don't wear high pants.
Not much. Okay. I mean, you're obviously quite a fashionable person now. Probably the second best real estate.
I was 18. I didn't know what I was wearing, Chip. I don't necessarily think we need to hark back to those kind of.
Well, you know, we want to get the details. I'm a details man. So so you started when you're 18, and then obviously top 2% real estate agent. So obviously you had the sales. And then started your own company.
Yeah, just on average. 2%, just average.
Very, very average. And then started the company. Started with 4. You've got 25 agents thereabouts now.
Actually up to 27. It's 27. Do you know how many staff we have, Chip? You train most of them.
Should know that. That's okay. Shout outs to all my staff out there watching. You're my biggest fans.
Yeah, but 27.
I mean, I'm your biggest fans.
27 agents, yeah.
27 agents. You're just moving now into a new office in Petone.
Yeah.
So I think it's safe to say that you know a little bit about real estate, don't you?
Yeah, well, just from basically running a sales team and selling real estate for 11 years. Definitely know a bit about real estate. But as we talked about, Chip, we don't want this kind of show just to be revolving around real estate sales.
No,
more just in general around property.
Well, that brought me to my main point about the background of the show is that we've spent a lot of time within that industry, both of us, watching commentators. Yep. Watching commentary.
Yep.
I suppose the big thing, the media, they like to get into a story and they like to press the issues, so to speak. And there's a lot of what I would just like to say bad commentary out of the marketplace.
There is bad commentary out there, yeah. And a lot of people there, based in Auckland, we're in Wellington.
Exactly.
We're a bit like Australia now as well, where you've got different big cities that actually have different markets.
Absolutely.
But I think mainly around the New Zealand commentators, especially the Auckland commentators, they're stuck in a time where New Zealand's one market. Going back 10, 20 years ago it was. But times have changed.
The times have changed.
They have changed.
Real estate in general has changed as well along those times as well.
Well, you think post-earthquake Christchurch, completely different market for much different reasons and economics, but completely different. And you look at Auckland now. Crazy market for the last kind of what, 5 years?
Well, I mean, I remember going back to 2011, 2012 when I first entered the industry, and even back then there was a lot of talk about, you know, the new Auckland kind of bubble that was on its way to grow, much like the Sydney and the Brisbane markets a couple of years later. But one of the things that we always have to hear in the marketplace, that we always hear, especially in the media side, and a lot of it comes from real estate commentators, who, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of them either used to be real estate agents or were never real estate agents, but they somehow have written a book or wrote a book, and now they've got some expertise on what's going on in the marketplace.
Yeah, and mainly as well around we've had this boom. We've just gone through a massive boom, and Wellington was still going.
That's a good point. I want to come back to that point later. Keep going. That's a good one.
Wellington's still going, but you're looking at the last boom, which was 2007.
Yep.
And then you're looking at the boom before that, and I seriously reckon that most of the commentators are from 2 booms ago. You know, and you look at sports people. You know, if they were in their prime 30 years ago, they wouldn't still be talking about the market or their sport 30 years later. They might be a commentator. So they're not still in the game, are they?
But reading between the lines there, what you're saying as well, and I think it's an effective point, is that after the last kind of, like you said, 2007, you go to early 2000s, you go throughout the 90s when it happened as well, and it all goes through the cycles, is that now is the time, given the technology and the ability that we have to do this, for some new commentators to come in and step up to the plate and take over this.
Talk about the market.
And talk about the market. And not just the market, because also as we're going through the, I suppose, the background of this show, it's about everything to do with real estate. I mean, real estate really is, I mean, it's domestically, it's one of the hottest topics that we can talk about.
That's pretty much all I've been doing for the last 11 years is just real estate.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, it's pretty depressing, but obviously been doing a lot more than just real estate, but in the last 11 years, 90% of my life has revolved around real estate.
Correct, yeah.
Ever since I was 6 years old when my dad started in real estate. So, that's going back 23 years ago now.
Well, don't say that too loud, because if he's watching this, he wouldn't want us to give away too much of his age. But hey...
he had me when he was 16, so...
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
There's your father, Mr. Llewellyn. There's your brother, well, his middle name's Llewellyn, but it's Elliot Llewellyn Kemeys. There's yourself. There's the 3. Family business.
Yep. And so Pilot Gareth up in
and we've got a Pilot Gareth somewhere around there in Ahaki. Yep.
Yeah.
And so business is in the blood. Look, and I obviously, just to chuck myself in there, a little bit of a broadcasting background.
Yes.
I've been actually thinking about this for a long time.
You've been trying to talk me into this for the last 6 years, and at the time I didn't think I had enough experience, and we've finally got to a point where I'm happy to talk about property.
Well, the other thing about it is, as well, is it's not just for a love of property, but also for a love of great New Zealand beer.
Exactly.
So, cheers. And with that, I'd like to welcome you to the Friday Shout. It's a pleasure and a privilege.
What a week.
Friend.
What a week.
What a week.
Fantastic.
An absolute week. And... I want to kick off. We said that this is going to be topical, and it has to be, because I don't think many people are going to sit down and watch us
ramble
on for
beers,
a... No. I mean, I'm sure there'll be a lot of people that would enjoy watching us ramble on. But the big question I have is first-time homebuyers. I want to start off with that. I think it's
straight into the first-time buyers.
Well, I think it's
thing in New Zealand right now. Okay.
I think it's just it's an election year. It's very topical at the moment. We hear
it is. Who do you think's going to get in?
We're not here to talk about politics just yet. We'll save that. We'll save that for episode 3 maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, hey, look, it's something as field agents we see all the time. We hear a lot of first-time home buyers saying, they find it unfair out there.
An hour ago, first-time buyer, Sylvester.
Yeah, shout out to Sylvester if he's watching the show as well.
Yeah, good luck on your house though.
Absolutely. But yeah, so I mean, look, you yourself, hey, you've obviously bought a few properties in your time, being that you've been in the real estate game since you're 18.
Yeah.
When did you buy your first property?
Well, it was actually not just me. It was Matt Brown.
Shout outs to Matt Brown Construction.
MB Construction.
MBC.
Yeah, very good builder. Very good builder.
But
but yeah, me and him actually at the age of 20 decided we wanted to buy a house. We were right at the absolute bottom of the market.
Yep. What year was that? We're talking what, 29?
2009.
29.
Yeah, 2009.
Big year.
Thought I overpaid for this house, and I know we paid $240,000 for it. As you know,
$240,000.
You just sold a property around the corner, for 400?
We just sold a property in Hewer Crescent.
Yep.
Just around the corner, Nainai. And whilst I can't disclose the exact figures just yet, I can say that it was around the $440,000.
In the 400s, wasn't it?
Two bedrooms, state house, ex-study.
So we actually saved up the 10% deposit between us, 5% each. Because No,
go.
Oh, I was just going to say, even now, people are saying it is hard to get into property, but at the same time, there's a lot of people that wouldn't be prepared to go halves with a friend, or and that's how I got my first home chip.
Well, that's what I find completely interesting as well, because whilst a lot of people say, "Oh, it's hard," it's also about the strategy behind
And it is hard,
how
and it
you
was
buy,
bloody
and it is hard. It is.
And one
hard.
thing I'll
It is
say
hard.
about that as well is that there is a lot of people out there as well that say, "Oh, no one can do it without their parents. No one can do that." Me and Matt both did it just by saving from dollar number one.
Yeah.
We made all the money ourselves and we put that away. We had a savings plan in place.
Yep.
And went through with it. It wasn't like someone just came along and said, "Chip, here's $50,000. Go buy a house."
Correct.
Yeah,
So let's talk about that just in a little bit more detail, because it's interesting how you say it, isn't it? So you're 20 years of age.
Yep.
You're
21 actually.
21.
Had
Sorry.
my yardie not so long ago before that. It was great.
Did you? Well, what were you using in the yardie?
Just beer, double brown actually.
Double brown.
Well, there's no panhead.
The Double.
There was no panhead.
There was no panhead back
There's a
then.
5.7 as
Well,
well.
we're talking, what's that? Almost 20 years. Oh no, sorry, 8 years ago.
8 years
ago. Yeah.
Easy on.
Yeah, easy on.
on.
The Doubles though.
Whew, good
The
beer.
Doubles are great. I mean,
The double browns. That's got to be the beer of your 20. When you're only 21, it's got to be the beer.
I think when it comes to yardies, the Double was it was a mid-strength but a strong choice for beer.
4% actually.
Settled very well.
4%, and it was the best for yardies as well, because you get your 8 beers in a yard glass,
That's
as,
right.
as you know,
8 standards. Yep.
and it'll be very fizzy. So you
8
have to
three
let
things.
it sit,
Yep.
it sit for 4 hours, 5 hours, and then really get into it. But it's a great beer because it doesn't have much taste.
Well, that's it, right. Whereas today, I mean, the kids are probably putting, you'd be wasting the panheads in the yardies.
This
The
is a
kids
great drop.
don't do
Not
that.
saying that the double brown is not a great drop. It is one of my favourite drops.
I mean, hey,
But in terms of just the Friday shout beers, I wouldn't say I'd be bringing double browns to the Friday shout.
well, you never know. I mean, depending on how the budget of the show, I mean, we've spent a lot of money on gear.
And
so
whoever comes up with the sponsorship, I suppose, like if Panhead comes to the party with some free beers, perfect. We'll be Panheads. If Double Brown shouted, hey, we'll be drinking Double Brown.
if the Doubles want to come in and they want to say, mate, we will shout your show,
I'd be drinking.
I'll put that out right now. I'd be happy for the Doubles to come out and
I'd
shout
drink
the show.
Amstel Light if they come to the party.
Well, I wouldn't push it too far. Strategy behind buying your first home.
Oh yeah, strategy, yeah.
So yeah, my question was, did you think about that, the benefits of having a builder on side as a 50-50 partner, or was it just, in those days, was it, as you said before, was it kind of just combining two income streams to be able to afford a house?
I've always been quite a good person at matching personalities to certain jobs and that kind of stuff, and I've been a lot of people say don't do business with friends.
Oh, correct. Absolutely.
Yeah, but I think the opposite way. Like Matt was a very good friend of mine. Mm-hmm. At the time, great builder. Mm-hmm. I was in real estate, so we kind of matched up that way. I brung a different skill set. He brung a different skill set, even being only 21 years old each.
Yeah.
He'd obviously saved me a lot of money in the building sense. I didn't know how to swing a hammer. Couldn't do that at all, Chip. And then on the other side, I could find the properties, and I had a bit of a knowledge behind it. Compared to, say, 29 to 21, I'd say I knew absolutely nothing about property.
Correct.
But compared to, no offense out there, but to the public at 21, I probably knew quite a bit.
Yeah.
So it was kind of, and Matt, so it was a good match there.
Well, and the other thing is that we're not saying, oh, hey, well, go find a builder and go find a real estate agent, and that's how you find a house when you're 21.
I think trust you.
Yeah, that's probably the thing is
doesn't matter who it is, but
because
you have to
I
trust
think
them.
well the second question I had is like, let's take away the job roles, take away the fact that you're a real estate agent, take away the fact that he's a builder. Both probably, quite both very, very dominant roles in the real estate industry. But say, for example, you're 21 and we just talk about it from a position where, I might be working in a corporate job, I might be working in a government job, I might still be in uni, I might be working part-time.
Yeah.
What you're saying is the benefit of going in with a business partner or with a partner was what helped you get into that first house.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like any kind of investment field. If you're looking at shares, you're looking at property, you're looking at anything, it's better to have $10 worth of that stock than none.
Correct.
So even at $10, but if you're looking at a $400,000 house, why not have $200,000 rather than none?
Yeah.
Because it's about getting on the ladder, and people say, oh, is it the right time to buy a chip?
Yes.
It's always the right time to buy if you're going to hold.
Correct.
All right. So you got to get in there and you got to buy.
Well, the classic real estate quote, don't wait to buy real estate and then wait.
Yes, and it's another classic thing from a lot of commentators out there that I'd have to say know nothing about property, and they say, oh, don't buy when the prices are down, don't buy when the property's up. Mm-hmm.
And what you're saying is just look at the variables and buy whenever you want, as long as the variables stack in your order.
And I mean, we could get into it. As you know, the amount of times we've talked about this in property investment, we could talk about yields, capital gains. But at the same time, the most simple thing you can do is buy a property, rent it out, and hold it. That's all you need to do. It's a very simple plan there.
So, and when you look at it from a young person's perspective,
Might grab another beer if that's all right.
that's fine, mate.
That's fine.
If
You're
you want
good with yours?
I'm good with mine for now.
Okay.
And once again, I'd like to give a big shout out to the fine people at Panhead.
Pale ale.
And Pale Ale today.
Have you tried the APA?
It's the APA is beautiful.
It's beautiful, yeah.
What we're actually going for here is a 4.6er, the quick change XPA 330.
Yeah, these ones 4.6 because the APA is a bit more on the percentage, aren't they?
Panheadcustomales.com. Shout out to Panhead Custom Ales.
Sorry, yeah, okay.
Pardon, I'll edit that out. Don't worry about that. So just saying that. Okay. So I'm 21 years of age. I've got a little bit of money. I've got some good friends. Some of them are still at uni. Some of them are working part time. I've got some. I might have just coming out of a flat. Thinking to myself, I want to buy a house. How do I do it?
How do you do it? We're talking now.
Yeah, well,
2017, or we're talking back in
well, I'm talking about take into consideration you bought that house in 2009.
Yeah.
We now fast track to 2017.
And if I was in the same place as I was back,
can you still do that today? Can you do the same thing you did in 2009?
There's always rules, and they're always hard.
Yeah.
I think there's one thing that the first home buyers. I'm 29, so I can say this. I'm not 75, saying it's hard. It's so we've got all these complainers and what is it? The avocado and toast that everyone's complaining about at the moment. Oh, everyone's spending all their money on smashed avocado.
Oh no! This was a good point. That you raised. So the
Ollie Newland.
No, it was the Australian young. He was like a developer, I think, or he was some kind of. He had a lot of property, and he came out in the news and said, the difference today from when I started was that the young generation today go and spend money on coffee and avocado. They eat out and have avocado on toast or what have you. And so you need to save up. So
that's not coming from me saying I've been through 4 booms and I've got lots of money from that. I started at the very hardest time, and now I'll just say it's just as hard to buy a property right now, because when I had to save for a deposit, it was hard.
Yeah.
I had to put it away, and I had to make sure I saved all the money. So 100%. The first thing you want to do is talk to a good mortgage broker.
Yeah.
Find out their real rules. Like there's KiwiSaver rules.
Well, did you have KiwiSaver when you bought in 2009?
No, I didn't have KiwiSaver. No. But at the same time, there's a lot of stuff that the government's bought in that helps the first home buyer. But there's a lot of people that don't know anything about it. So we're probably not going to sit here today because it'll probably take us about 45 minutes to go through the rules.
We can talk about that all day long.
KiwiSaver, we can talk about it. And fantastic that the government's brought that on board, though, isn't it?
Well, absolutely. And look, in the future, I think that the way that the show, as we said, will organically evolve over time is we'll bring some people in here, some mortgage brokers maybe, that will be able to talk about
maybe Mark Cook, maybe New Zealand's
Well, I didn't want to say anything about the home loan shop and their fantastic reputation.
Service is just brilliant.
Mark Cookie from the home loan shop, he will be joining us sometime soon.
But have a chat to him. So the first thing you want to do is sit down with either your bank.
Yeah.
Probably don't go to your bank. No offense, ANZ, Westpac, Asbay, I love you guys. Please let me borrow some more money off you. You probably want to deal with a great mortgage broker, because the rules are always changing in terms of interest rates, deposits, and they do change from bank to bank.
Yeah.
So it's good to have one broker that will look after you, and a good broker. So,
and it's always going to depend on your situation as well, because you walk in, and you're going to be different from Joe Blogg and Joe Blogg down the road. But a broker's going to be able to really siphon what your position is, and then put it out into the marketplace to get you the best deal. And I think that's another thing that a lot of people, first time, second time, third time home buyers don't understand. It can be any kind of home buyers, is that much like shopping around for a real estate agent, as we know people do, you can shop around for a good rate from a bank as well. You don't have to actually be conservatively held, so to speak, to the same bank.
Exactly. You can definitely negotiate with the banks, especially if you have a large deposit, say 20%.
Because the main thing that I want to get across here as well is that, and this is something we can edit in later on. I don't want this to be the show or the 2-minute real estate agency top tips for first time home buyers.
No.
Because what we're talking about here is we're talking about first time home buying as a topic, so to speak, from all sides in the marketplace at the moment. And I think that we've heard it since I started in real estate. I've heard it the whole time. It's so hard to buy my first house. It's so hard to buy my first house. Mum and dad.
Yeah.
All honesty, and we'll put it on the table. Mum and dad.
Yeah.
In your experience dealing with mum and dads, and no offense to mum and dads generically more helpful in getting a first-time home buyer into a home, or can they be distracting?
Topical question.
Very topical question. And this is how we want to
cover off my parents.
Well, there you go. I mean, at least then we're safe. So we'll use Lou and Sue.
Cover off my parents. Talk about Lou, my dad, absolutely brilliant in terms of advice.
Correct. And your mum does know how to dress a bedroom for Airbnb very, very well.
But what we got though is Lou was always very good with me and Elliot about property. He always gave us loads and loads of advice. So I was very lucky there. So I can't just say that I didn't have any help there.
Exactly.
One thing he did teach us though is that he didn't give us $1 towards investing.
Okay.
Because he felt that if you give someone something,
Well, you're invested in that, aren't you?
yes, they are, but they can't get it to the next level either because they think it's easy.
Ah, I see.
So the next step you look at, you go, yeah, well, that's going to be too hard to get there.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even do the first step.
Yeah.
So he was very ruthless around that. Then you look at my mum. She just supported me. She did whatever she wanted. But in general, Chip, so I did dance around the subject a little bit there.
That's
but
okay.
in general, mums and dads in the marketplace, 90% of them very unhelpful. The reason why
I hate to say it, but this is, I mean, I completely agree with you. Look, I've been a real estate agent now for 6 years, and one of the things that I consistently see, and this is no offence, and look, my mum and dad were the same. You know, they're very opinionated around property, and they're very opinionated, you know, first home and the family home, and but a lot of the time, you know, it's what I always find funny is people go, oh well, we bought a house in 1988 for 120,000 or 130,000 or what have you. The interest rate in the late 1980s was around 18%.
Yeah,
19%.
So it's inflation. That's something that people don't actually recognise.
That we don't actually take into consideration as well.
They don't say anything about that. They just say that we paid so much.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's a bit.
And I think that also,
sorry to cut you off there, but put you on perspective there, Chip. It's like, say, if on a $500,000 house at the moment, you're paying $500 a week in interest on the mortgage.
Yep.
Around about that 5% mark.
Yep.
Okay, so the 18%, we'll triple that times a little bit. We'll give it $1,700 to $1,800. The economy doesn't work.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, the mum and dad argument about that is flawed completely.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Because I've had to deal with, I've been on the receiving end of that.
So it's not actually reality
as
as well. Because the thing is as well is that people say it's hard now, but it was harder for us.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But vice versa, the first time buyers, it's too hard for us now.
Exactly.
It was easy for you.
Yeah.
So it's always shift the blame, typical human nature.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, and look, I mean, you made a very good comment before that as field agents, and we are obviously selling.
Yeah.
If anyone needs an appraisal, be sure to contact us after the show.
We said we wouldn't talk about Ray Watt, but
we didn't. You dropped Ray Watt. I didn't drop Ray Watt. I just said we're real estate agents.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, as field agents, one of the things that we always come up, up with is the fact that a lot of first time home buyers, they are missing out. And actually, I'll tell you what. Segue that. We're done. I want to know. You said something before that I thought was you used a word before that I thought was very prevalent in terms of this conversation.
Yes.
And that was the word boom.
Boom. Yes.
Now, it was widely known.
Should we put it on a big sign?
Well, it was.
Sorry, no, that's it.
Put it on a billboard.
Little dig there.
It was wildly known, and I was going there, that last year, and I'm not going to name names, there was a company in the Wellington area, a real estate company, that heavily used that word boom.
Yeah, good old 1980s real estate tactics.
I want to know a couple of things. The first thing I want to know, in your experience as a commentator, a real estate principal and agent, are we still in a boom in Wellington?
100%.
Because, I mean, as a first-time home buyer...
They also put out a video in December, wasn't it? Saying that the boom was over. But let's not forget that.
Well, same company was very, very, what I would call contradictional in some of their claims. Because at one stage, they've got boom written over everything, and then they said, yes, as you said, at the end of the year, it's coming to an end. But also as a first-time home buyer, I think that's, I mean, not saying that it's not a term that's going to get thrown around. Look, we're not saying that. But it is intimidating when you're in the middle of a boom. Yeah. To be able to buy a property. To first-time home buyers out there at the moment, and be prepared. I'm asking you: are we still in a boom in Wellington?
100%. Yeah.
Why?
Why are we in a boom? Well, you got low.
Well, why would you say we're still in a boom?
Oh, you got low interest rates. Well, first and foremost, if you ask why we're in a boom, is because there's everything's selling. Yeah. Okay, so what happens? You've got multiple interest in most properties. The prices are going higher, and obviously the prices are rising because people pay more than they want to pay to secure a property. But the reasons why they're doing that is because you've got low interest rates. Yeah. You've got good immigration. Yeah. So the prices are going up. Yeah. That's basically what it boils down to.
And I mean, stock is still very low in the Wellington area, isn't it?
It is, and it's the classic supply and demand. People go, the stock has been in the lowest it's ever been in a very long time. Yeah. That's because everything's selling.
Yeah.
If everything wasn't selling, we'd have lots of stock.
Yeah.
Go back 2009, you got the most stock on the market in Wellington in years.
And I want to talk about this as well, because it's again going back to what I was saying before. We don't want to make this a here's our top tips for first time home buyers, so to speak.
No.
But I do want to be able to give good content out there to first time home buyers that might be watching.
Yeah.
Now, we've already established that regardless of the market,
Yes.
if you get into the right variables, or if you get into the right situations, go in with a partner maybe. If you can't do that, have a look at, talk to a broker, see if you can get a better rate, see if there's something that you can do. If you are working with mum and dad, make sure that mum and dad kind of know, not to interfere too much or give their own opinion.
Yes,
and
maybe
maybe it would be constructive as well if mum and dad sat down with a trusted agent or someone they know, and so you can have more of an open conversation.
You're never too old to learn.
You're never too old to learn.
No.
But that one kind of final, piece of advice for a first-time home buyer, if I'm out there in the marketplace now, and I'm going into, let's say for example, I'm going into a tender or an auction. Okay. What's the one thing, or the few things I should be doing to ensure that I love that property? I'm going to get it.
I suppose that's a good question, Chip, because you're talking about building reports and all that kind of stuff. But
That's
I
right.
suppose the question. Sorry if I'm gonna
No, please go.
answer a question with a question.
I would love your interpretation.
I do like your questions.
I would love your interpretation.
No. But I'd suppose the big question that I'm seeing, and I'm sure you're seeing as well. I'd actually like to debate as well. What you're saying is that probably the question is not what should I do before the tender, or how much am I going to pay, or is it the right time to buy?
Bang.
Because as a person, you're going in and you're going, yeah, great, fantastic, this house is worth $450,000 in Nino.
Yeah.
Am I making the biggest mistake of my life?
Well, and then the other thing that runs through your head is, do I buy? Do I rent?
Yeah, exactly. So what you got to look at is a property now that sells for say $450.
Yep.
We'll probably rent for about $450. That's you're talking about in Lower Hutt. They were different all around the country,
Of course.
but you're talking about a property that's going to rent for about $450.
Yeah.
And it's $450,000 to buy.
Yeah.
So you're talking about 5%.
Okay.
Okay, that's
In terms of the yield.
Okay. So
And
what
what's
you
your
gotta
current term deposits? Like, what would you be looking at in terms of?
term deposit 3.6.
So,
max.
is it better to get your money into a property now?
100%.
Yeah.
Especially if you're looking at owning. I mean, my advice to first home buyers seriously would be, and a lot of people don't look at that, because what they want to do is they don't want to buy the $450,000 house, and it's crazy that we're talking about $450,000 houses rather than $250,000.
When you're a first time home buyer.
Yes, but we are.
Yeah.
But it's crazy that people look at their first home. There's nothing wrong with buying the $750,000 home for your first home, but they look at it and they go, I don't want that $450,000 home because I want to be in the $750,000 home.
So what you're saying is perception in the marketplace is what can kill it for first time home buyers.
It's just like when you buy your first car. You don't want the $1,000 one, you want the $4,000 one.
Well,
What's
I know
the
for
smart choice?
I know for what was your first car?
My first
What was
car?
your first car?
Honda Civic.
Oh, the Honda.
No, Honda
Civic.
Shuttle actually. Honda Shuttle.
Hang on, now there is a big difference between the shuttle and
It
the
was a
Civic.
Honda Shuttle.
Are we talking? Are they the ones that had the sliding? They're kind of like
No. You're talking about an MPV.
Oh,
Honda Shuttle. But yeah, harking back to the question of whether it's a good time to buy, and in terms of the $450,000 to the $750,000 house, what my point was is that you should just buy the $450,000 house.
Yeah.
Renovate it.
Yeah.
Do it up. If the market slides back for a year, you can still be in a great home.
Yeah.
You're on the ladder.
Yeah.
And you're paying down a mortgage.
Yeah. As opposed to renting and
My
paying someone else's
ex-boss
mortgage.
once said to me,
Yeah.
shout out to my ex-boss there, John Ross.
Yeah.
Once
JR.
the JR.
The J.
What he said to me is just buy a home,
Yep.
okay, and then in 10 years' time, you would have paid down a lot of that loan, and that's money you wouldn't have saved.
So what you're saying is it's almost so in regards to buying a house,
Yeah,
compulsory savings.
exactly.
Because you're putting that money.
That's worst case.
'Cause you have to
people
pay a
go,
mortgage.
should I buy this house?
Yeah.
You cannot predict the market, okay? So all New Zealand's tried to predict the market for a good old 30 years.
And what we're saying as well on the show is that we're not coming out to predict the market, are we?
We're not predicting
We're
the
coming out
market.
to comment on the
I'll
market.
probably try to predict it, but everyone's guessing. But the main thing is to stick to the main rules of investing.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about first home buyers just buying their first home and then they're going to sell it, because there's no
Correct.
point in that. We're talking about making money and investing.
Yeah.
Making money and investing, you buy and you hold for a period of time. You're not going to make me as a real estate agent much money because you're not going to sell cheap.
Correct.
But at the same time, you're going to make yourself a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah.
Over a long period of time, your yields are going to go up, so your rents are going to go up, your mortgage is going to come down, and then you're going to have a positively geared property, and you're going to make a lot of money.
And so to satisfy the qualms or what would you call it? What's the word I'm looking for when you're nervous about something?
Worries. Okay, we'll put it into perspective. 50 years ago, Chip,
Yep.
you bought a house for 82,000 that you thought was worth 81. Are you annoyed today?
No,
You're
because it's
very,
probably worth
very
half
ecstatic.
a million.
But would you be annoyed if you bought it for 81 and sold it for 79?
Yes, I would be. Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're there to hold it.
So what we're saying is if you have qualms as a first-time home buyer about price,
Yep.
remember that markets go through cycles.
They do.
We are going through one at the moment.
Yep.
It's proven that we've
I
been
wouldn't
going
go like
through.
this. I'd go like this at the moment.
Yep.
You know me, Chip. I've actually done a lot of study around the markets.
Correct.
Back about, 50 years, pinpointed to mumps in every suburb. Sorry, not suburb, every city in New Zealand.
Regions.
Every region.
Yep.
In 4 years, I'm hoping to predict each region that is going to increase and decrease.
Yep.
Okay? But I'll probably only share that with my good friends because we could be well wrong and we could lose a lot of money.
And we do not, as a disclaimer, this is not a financial advice or planning.
No. We're not financial
show
advisors.
at
We don't
all.
have our financial advisor ticket.
Not a financial. This is just a commentary show.
But at the same
about
time, in
market,
4 years, I'm going to
about
be
the,
investing a
market.
hell of a lot of money in one city
Yeah.
because I believe we're in that trend. And if we go back to the last time Wellington was in this exact same spot in terms of interest rates and everything,
Yeah.
going into a government that could change
And this is an election year. And we're
Yes.
going to talk about elections. We are.
next time, could change. Wellington hums along flat. Auckland does watch it. Drops a little bit. Say that.
It's going to drop a little bit.
Yeah, fantastic. So it drops a little bit. What's Auckland doing right now?
Dropping a little bit.
Oh, fantastic. So we have been through this exact same cycle.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Well, look, I think to summarise all of that, and we're not beating around the bush. It's hard for first-time home buyers.
it is. It's always been.
What I get is think outside the square.
Yep.
Don't take everything mum and dad's saying as literature, so to speak, or as Bible.
Yep.
Get a good broker.
Yep.
And remember, the most important rule is hold on to it, and remember that it's a compulsory savings. It's going to make you money
Got to
in the
think
long
like you're
in the long run.
investing. You're not just buying a home.
Correct.
As soon as you think you're just buying a home, you are a first home buyer, but you're investing.
Correct.
You're in a market.
Correct.
Yeah. So
Well, look, mate, I just want to go on a little bit of a tangent here, just as we close off, and say that this is probably the best episode of the Friday Shout we've ever done.
By far the best.
I mean, it's the only episode and the first episode.
Yes, it is.
But I'm very happy with the results that we've got.
It is. I think the lighting, the cameras have been great.
It's not every day that you can build a studio in your home, because we
Yeah.
are here obviously at your home.
34 Bolton Street, MB Construction.
Oh, again, MB Construction.
Fantastic.
Shout outs to. Have we got any other shout outs you want to make before we close off?
Well, now that we're finished, obviously being a Friday,
Yeah.
we'll probably have to go down the old Sprig and Fern. Beautiful establishment.
Just if you are in the Petone area
Best
and
bar-
you are
best-
crawling around
best-
Jackson
best
Street,
bar
I just
in
want to give
Jackson
a big shout out to all of our friends down there at the Sprig and Fern. Roops, I'll pose this to you as we do close off. This is a great show. I mean, people are already, they're coming in and saying they love it. I'm sure the fan mail is stacked up on the porch already. Maybe we'll do a couple of location shoots. Maybe we do get into the old Sprig and Fern, and we come live.
Yeah, we could go live. We go live with the rugby, just like
live
the
with
Lions and the All Blacks last weekend.
just like
Brilliant
the
game,
Lions
wasn't it?
It
It was great to be live at the All Blacks and Lions test. And,
I thought it was a great measure of
great
the
to have tickets.
of the
Great to
type
have
of
tickets.
fans.
Picked them up a day before Viaggio.
Exactly.
Viaggio. was it?
Viaggio.
Glad that website came through.
If anyone is buying tickets off Viaggio, just make sure that you do your due diligence and good research. Mr. Kemeys, I'd like to thank you for joining us.
Pleasure,
It's
buddy,
always
always,
a pleasure, never a chore.
Yep.
This has been the Friday Shout, episode 1. Keep a watch out. I think it's coming out fortnightly, every Friday.
Every fortnight, yeah. Friday shout.
We'll make sure that next time we'll be able to get some questions and things. And thank you for joining us. Big shout out to Panheads, our unofficial sponsor for today. And we'll see you around the bin.
Cheers.
Cheers. Beautiful.